Millsap has gone from former four-time All-Star to other guy in the trade that brought James Harden to the Sixers. But he is now being tasked with playing backup center behind Joel Embiid. Paul Millsap sat on a makeshift stage inside the 76ers practice facility in Camden, with Daryl Morey, James Harden, Josh Harris, and Doc Rivers all to his left. They had assembled for an introductory press conference following one of the more significant mid-season trades in NBA history. But it took nearly 13 minutes for anybody to ask Millsap a question. Before going straight to the content here, the brand new information on the channel is that 3 lucky winners will get a chance to win PS5. Only you have to comment your views on this trade in the comments section below. Let's start today's topic. The noise around James Harden's arrival in Philadelphia has overshadowed the Sixers' other acquisition in that trade. Paul Millsap, who spent his last 4 seasons in Denver before signing with Brooklyn over the summer. The 37-year-old Millsap is now filling the Sixers' backup center role behind MVP contender Joel Embiid after Andre Drummond was included in the same trade with the Brooklyn Nets. And landing with the Sixers also keeps Millsap's primary goal at this juncture of his career intact: contending for an NBA championship. "You never know how that goes," Millsap told the Inquirer following the Sixers' practice in Minneapolis. "But through the choices and the decisions that led me here, I feel really comfortable and confident with this team." Millsap was once the recipient of a rival fanfare. After averaging 17.4 points, 8.3 rebounds, 3.3 assists, and 1.7 steals per game. During 4 consecutive All-Star seasons with an Atlanta Hawks team that was a steady force in the Eastern Conference from 2013 to 17. Millsap signed a 3-year, $90 million contract with the Denver Nuggets. Now, the question is, will that change in Philadelphia? The Sixers traded Andre Drummond as part of the Harden deal, leaving them without a definitive backup center behind Joel Embiid. Doc Rivers already said the Sixers plan to cede Millsap, so a buyout feels unlikely. There's a real chance the 37-year-old, who was traded on his birthday, gets the first crack at absorbing Drummond's minutes in the frontcourt. He was the splashy free agent addition expected to inject playoff experience, toughness, and professionalism into an up-and-coming Denver roster anchored by Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Gary Harris. Although the Nuggets missed the playoffs by 1 game in Millsap's first season, when he missed more than 3 months with a torn wrist ligament, they surged to the number 2 spot in the West standings in 2018-19 and have become a postseason mainstay. Millsap's production dwindled as he aged and the frontcourt became more crowded throughout his 4 seasons in Denver, but he remained a model of steady leadership in the locker room. The best thing about Paul Millsap is he's true to himself and never tries to be something he's not. Nuggets coach Michael Malone said during the 2019 playoffs, "He's not a rah-rah guy. He's not a guy that's gonna be screaming. But I think his calm nature, his calm demeanor affects our group." When the Nuggets opted to sign Jeff Green to a 2-year, $10 million contract last summer, however, it signaled the end of Millsap's Nuggets tenure. He said the Sixers were the first team to reach out during free agency, and he believed he would be a perfect fit on the roster. But before he signed with Brooklyn instead, Millsap told the Inquirer, "What happened? At that time, I didn't know if I was going to play then or come back during the second half of the season." Millsap is on a veteran's minimum contract. He has appeared in 24 games for Brooklyn, averaging 3.4 points and 3.7 rebounds in 11.3 minutes per game. The Nets aren't exactly known for frontcourt depth, but with names like Nick Claxton, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Blake Griffin in front of him, Millsap had a difficult time carving out minutes. Millsap went back to Atlanta, where he spent time with his daughter, who is now 3 months old, and the rest of his family. He trained at the gym he owns in the city. Millsap said his life has been a whirlwind since then. It is the first time he has been traded in his 16-year career. He is transitioning from playing power forward, where he has traditionally had a size advantage in the post. Since the All-Star break, Millsap struggled to finish inside early during the win at Minnesota, but had his best outing with his new team so far during a victory over the Knicks. He totaled 6 points on 3 of 5 shooting, including a baseline jumper and a bucket at the rim off feeds from Harden, and added 3 rebounds, 2 on the offensive end, 1 assist, and 1 steal in 12 minutes. Millsap appreciates that people got a good chuckle out of his self-deprecating line during that press conference. He understands the magnitude of Harden joining this team for a fascinating stretch run. But once those laughs subsided, Millsap explained that he immediately felt a culture of joy and togetherness with the Sixers that was also present on the successful teams for which he previously played. That's why he is happy to be in Philly, too. When the Philadelphia 76ers made the big trade at the deadline, the focus was obviously on acquiring James Harden and bringing him in to team up with Joel Embiid to continue their path towards a title. However, the Sixers also acquired a big man from the Nets in that deal as well in the form of 4-time All-Star, Paul Millsap. Millsap, who is another player who has lost a step, has had himself a very long and successful career as somebody who has carved out a role in the league. By the time he got to the Sixers, however, he was not the same player who could contribute out on the floor in 2022. There was hope that Millsap could come in and provide some help to this team off the bench. But it was obvious early on that he was not able to do so at this stage of his career. He did score 9 points in his Sixers debut in a blowout loss to the Boston Celtics. And he started a game against the Miami Heat where he scored 5 points and 4 rebounds. Millsap played in just one game in the playoffs, and it came in Game 1 of Round 2 with the Heat. Philadelphia was missing Embiid for the first 2 games of the series, and coach Doc Rivers needed to turn to somebody to fill the minutes at the big men spots. Millsap only played 6 minutes and he had 1 rebound and 1 assist. James Harden has ample experience with small ball centers, both in Houston and in Brooklyn. That said, the Sixers also have 2 young bigs who deserve consideration in Paul Reed and Charles Bassey. In particular, it's Charles Bassey who makes the most sense on paper. He's the kind of above-the-rim finisher and interior defender who fits hand in glove with Harden, a player who once elevated Clint Capella to borderline all-star status in Houston. Look, there's a chance Paul Millsap's production in Brooklyn is the new normal instead of an aberration. And he'll be quietly waived in favor of a more effective player like Robin Lopez from the buyout market, or even more minutes for Paul Reed/Charles Bassey. If that happens, the Philadelphia 76ers will have upgraded their bench with a better player, and no one will be the wiser. But if Millsap can take his play with the Nets personally and elevate his game back to his Denver form, well, the Sixers might have a solid player capable of logging crucial minutes in the playoffs. So what do you think of this trade? Do let us know in the comments section below and get a chance to win a brand new PS5. If you enjoyed watching the video, do like and share, and yes, don't forget to hit that notification bell. Thank you so much.